Coming up on the Frickin' Frack Show, better known as the Nice Guys on Business.
You have to be honest about your schedule. When you are looking at your week and you're trying to get done a list of things, you have to be honest about your time and what you actually are going to get done. And we've been through different periods of the business where we've completely burned ourselves out, and it is not positive at the end of it. Our families suffer for it. We personally suffer. Our relationship as business partners and friends suffers. It's just suffering all around, and it is not in a place where we need to be.
If my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Banter.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back. It's a new week. It is Monday. You're ready for 5 more episodes of the Nice Guys.
That's right. You did say tomorrow's show, but Strickland still thinks it's Monday.
Yeah, sorry. Tomorrow it's going to be Monday again when you hear it, but I'll bleep it out or something. I don't know. It really is Monday today. And my name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. We're talking to a couple other podcasters that we actually met at DC Podfest. Do you know if they're on Patreon? How do they support their show?
Are they on Patreon?
I don't know, but we're on Patreon. That would be patreon.com/nice guys. If you want to contribute to the show, you can do so for as little as $2 a month and get all kinds of cool bonus content.
It's not just the $2 a month that's it's giving to us. We're going to give a lot in return. You've got to go over there and hear what the bonus content is. I think we have a special sample of a sneak peek of one of the previews of the behind the scenes look at what, boy, that was kind of deep, of all the things that happens with our show before we hit the record button. But that's not actually right, because we hit the record button, but we just don't hit the record button for the podcast. So it's
sneaky.
Like the half record button. What would that be? What would that be like?
The pre-record button.
The pre-record button. It's you remember when you used to have a cassette deck? You had a cassette deck, right?
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of our listeners never did.
Okay, so a cassette deck, as a DJ, I had a cassette deck that actually was part of my rig. So I would go out there with the CD players, and god damn, I had such a freaking like jacked up rig when I first started working. I had the what the hell were the Sony single disc players, not even the disc man, but a single disc player, because I was afraid that people would come up to my table and hit the table, which would of course skip the CD. I used to take this egg crate foam stuff and put it on top of the table. So I'd lay on top of a 6-foot table a big old piece of that, the foam. And then I would put my 2 CD players.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
You know how it's my job to keep you on track?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do right now.
Oh, shit.
All right. What is it what the judge says when, like, relevance, like he bangs his gavel? He's like, can you please
come in?
Stay relevant? No, it's what
right,
I can't remember.
No relevance here. No relevance. Sorry. Anyway, nice. Maybe they wanted to hear the end of that story, but probably not.
I know I don't. Maybe we'll put it in our pre-record. Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Whatever. Anyway, so on today's show, Becca and Tiffany. Becca and Tiffany have a podcast formerly called Pop and Banter, now called She Reaches. And I totally listened when we met them at DC Podfest. I'm like, how many podcasts, Rick? Now, maybe there's a lot for you, but how many podcasts do you actually listen to other than ours?
Very few.
Yeah.
Just a handful.
So I don't listen to any. And so, well, maybe one.
Thank you for your honesty, Doug. Appreciate that.
I really don't. I really don't listen to any podcasts. I don't have the time. I don't want to. I don't even like podcasting. I'm forced to be here every day. Anyway, so I'm just joking, by the way. I love doing our podcast, but I don't really like listening to podcasts. So I started listening to this one called Pop and Banter, now called She Reaches. Started listening to Pop and Banter, and the first episode that I listened to hit me right between the fucking eyes, because it was all about goal setting, but it was done in this way that it just made me feel like I'm totally like I should be doing this, and I don't. I don't, and they talk about it in really good terms, and they're having a conversation, and Becca and Tiffany are just 2 really good hosts of a podcast. So I'm listening to this, I'm like, fuck, I need to set some goals. You know, and I didn't really want to, so of course I didn't set the goals. But you know, I go back to that episode every time, and I'm like, shit, I really need to set the goals. So anyway, they were on the show. We spent a lot of time talking about life's imperfections. We spent a lot of time talking about what happens in the real world. And Becca and Tiffany are true to life. They are real women on a real podcast talking about their real journey. And it's a great way to start your week. So Becca and Tiffany are on the podcast today.
Cool. All right. So the promise statement, which we have not done all week.
Oh shit, we haven't done that at all this entire week. Mm-mm. Well, it's only Monday. We have a chance to make it up.
True. Yeah, like we haven't done it all week with the episodes coming up later in the week that we've recorded already, so we can't go back and add it in. Never mind. It's very confusing.
Do you think anybody remembers?
I think I'm going to have to use our Back to the Future intro today because we're talking in cyclical terms about time travel and when we recorded our episodes.
Hold on. When does our website actually launch?
Oh my gosh, our website is up too. I forgot about that.
Is it up or is it
no?
Because I saw, wait a second.
The only thing that's not is the podcast player, which I hope, if Mar is doing some research, and I hope by the end of the weekend to have that.
Yeah, but Strick, I'm looking at the episodes right now, and they're all like Libsyn, Kira, Funo.
Okay, did you listen to what I just said? I said the website is up except for the podcast player, which I hope to have by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, but Strick, that's all we're about.
Okay, anybody that is listening to us right now,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They're already getting the podcast episodes, right?
Yeah,
so they know how to get those.
What are they going to our site for?
Then they want to go to the website for like extra fun stuff.
I don't see any extra fun stuff on here yet. What's on here that's extra fun?
There's
I haven't even fixed my picture yet. You got me like looking like at a right angle.
Oh, now I see what it is. The problem is when you first go there, you don't look good.
You look fucking awesome, and I look like a dweeb.
The whole rest of the website is now tainted. You can't even look past that because you don't like your picture on the homepage.
It's a horrible picture. But the logo? You were going to fix that too, Strick. I'm sorry.
It is. It's horizontal and it's bigger. How fucking big do you want it? Because however big it is, that's how big the header has to be.
I can't see the. Yeah, I would make it much bigger. You can't even see all of the words on it.
Oh, jeez. All right, Doug, let's take this offline. We'll find another place to do.
I don't want to take this offline. I want to have this conversation right now.
Okay, how big do you want it? Because however big it is, that's how big the header has to be if you want it in the header. If you're saying we should put the logo somewhere else also, let's put it somewhere else on the site also.
Look at the fucking logo. The word "the" is spelled I-H. I can't even see the entire word.
Dude, are you listening to the words that I'm saying to you right now?
Yeah, make it bigger.
How big do you want it? Because keep in mind, let's say I make it 5 times as big. Do you know what that means? The header will be 5 times as bigger. Do you understand the words I'm saying to you?
So here's what I would do. I would take the logo and I would just take the words away from the logo. And why is it so fuzzy?
Okay, I'm going to take the words away from the logo and I'll just leave the heart. Do you still want it bigger?
No.
Okay, so what you're saying is you just want the heart.
No, what I want is what I want. I want it to look right. It doesn't look right.
Tell me, Doug, how will it look right?
Okay, I want take the words away, leave the heart and the microphone, take the entire logo, make it large, and put it to the right of the player. How about that? That would actually work out really well.
Take it out of the header, then. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, except for the heart and the little microphone stand.
Okay, so as soon as I actually get a player that works, I will do that. Okay?
You can make the changes all at one time, right?
Exactly.
So if you go to our website right now, which is niceguysonbusiness.com, you will totally see a shit show of a webcam. Of a podcast.
Even more of a shit show than what you've just heard for the last 3 minutes of us yapping at each other. Like,
exactly.
I'm sure we have listeners right now that are going, you know what? If I wanted to hear this crap, I'd go home and talk to my wife. If I wanted to hear arguing like that, I'll go home to my parents' place. Wait a minute. Bad timing. Hold on. I'm so late on this. Here, listen. Yeah, okay. I have the Zencaster controls now. We're going to talk about that on tomorrow's show a little bit more.
I think Mara has completely left us.
I think so too. I would have left us by now.
You know, we're looking for more people that will want to actually come on the show and just listen in, because I feel like I do much better when I'm in front of an audience. And even if it's an audience of just one, I do much better. I feel like I'm much more on camera right now.
Okay, we were 10 minutes into this intro, and we did interview Becca and Tiffany today. Promise statement to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. Let's get to the interview with Becca and Tiffany.
Oh, gosh. Okay, hey, we forgot to say this any other episode last week, but we are proud to be affiliated with the C-Suite Radio Network. Now, let's get to the interview with Becca and Tiffany. I hope I still have a job. Live your life with a little pop, and these ladies certainly know how to banter. I know that for sure. This is, I think it's my first 2-on-1 experience.
Oh, wow.
Interviewing ladies. Get your mind out of the gutter. Holy shit. That was probably Tiffany that said that. Becca and Tiffany are here to share life experiences and all the goodness they have to provide. They have a once a week, sometimes twice a week, but mostly awesome a week podcast called Pop and Banter. But we're going to explain why it might not be called Pop and Banter as of the day of this recording. You will laugh until you pee yourself, and that's why I took a little bathroom break before I got online here. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast, Becca and Tiffany.
Oh, we are so excited to be with the Nice Guy community. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Wow. So I think what we should probably do is, since no one knows who I am, first of all, nobody knows who you are either. Maybe as you start to talk in the beginning, can you just say, hey, this is Becca, or hey, this is Tiffany, because that way everybody will know, and you'll help me too.
Sure.
Okay, that's cool. Okay. All right. Good. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And Tiffany's laughing at you, so yes.
Tiffany is the laugher between the two of you, isn't she?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So my big question would be, let's just start from here. And I know you're going through this branding change, and that's cool. But who is Pop and who is Banter exactly?
So this is Becca, and I think we've been asked that before, and I think every time we're asked that, we give a different answer.
All right. So what's today's answer?
Today's answer could be that I'm maybe
like,
more
what
poppy.
is she gonna say?
It's like, I know.
Hey, listen, Tiffany, just back it down, okay? Becca's talking, okay?
I think there's sometimes that I can tend to be the crazier one and the more exciting and energetic. But Tiffany also plays that role. So it may also just depend on the day. Sometimes one of us is bringing the other one and like, hey, we actually need to get something done. So you need to stop laughing, which is what I would say to Tiffany. See, case in point. But yeah, I think we switch roles. But today, maybe it'll be me.
Okay. All right. So Nice Guy community, just so you're aware, definitely take a moment and go over to iTunes and check out their show. The new brand is going to be called She Reaches. And the new show, when will it officially be called She Reaches?
So it'll officially be called She Reaches as of the day of this airing, March 13th.
Oh, no kidding. That is awesome. So the day that the show comes out, if they go over to iTunes, all right, let's just make sure, because I know iTunes will fuck things up. If you go over to iTunes, one of two choices, go to She Reaches. That's Tiffany and Becca's old show, but a new brand. A great show. Or it's called Pop and Banter if you can't get to it through She Reaches. And again, we're hoping that everything goes well with iTunes, but I don't.
I know.
Have you already started with them?
No, we haven't.
Yeah. They have a really cool show. So on your show, you go into like this whole myriad of topics. You are literally all over the place, and not in a messy way, but you're all over the place in a good way. I can recall. Let's see, there was a total mindfuck episode where you do this whole thing on goal setting, and then there's another episode where you're talking about friending coworkers in a sleeping with the enemy-esque kind of episode. Yeah. So talk about, just share a little bit about what your show is, because I just love the conversations that the two of you have with each other. It's so fun, and sometimes you even do it with your clothes on.
Yes, we do. It's like we also do it in our closet, so that's an interesting one anyways. But
I remember you were telling me about that. But let's talk about the show, and then we'll talk about the fact that you're still in the closet.
Yes. So our audience is high achieving women, and so who are juggling all of the things, and so that's why we're kind of all over the place in terms of the different topics that are important to that audience. And so, yeah, like you said, we talk about goal setting, we talk about kind of books that we've read, about going outside your comfort zone, we talk about exercise, just all the different topics that someone like ourselves would want to chat about.
We received some feedback once, and I think it was in one of the reviews that said that every time that they listen to the show, we are talking about exactly the thing that they wanted to say, or one of us says what they were thinking themselves. And that was honestly such amazing feedback, because one of the things that we do want to share is that there are different ways to approach it. Like Tiffany and I both have different backgrounds. We have different family situations. We have different jobs now. And so we're trying to get the different perspectives about how you can look at a challenge in your life, and then work with our audience to offer even more ideas, about, like, goal setting is a great example, or how to get unstuck, or how to make a change in your career, how to handle being a new mom at the office. These are all kind of topics that are relevant to high achieving women. And so we want to cover them.
Okay, but let me go back for a moment and just, I'm not going to correct you because it's your show, but let me say this, and maybe I'm hitting this because maybe I'm more from the metrosexual angle. I'm the guy that, you'll more likely find, drinking a Cosmo at a bar than drinking whiskey. I mean, I like the show from a guy's perspective for a couple reasons. Number one, it gets me a little bit more in touch with some of the things that I want to talk about that aren't, I'm not a sports guy, so I don't want to talk about sports. I want to learn about the things that are challenges, not just for women, because I'm not a woman, but I am a sensitive guy that wants to understand a little bit more about the feeling side of things. And I think a lot of times, like the women's shows, they deal more in that ilk. So I don't know. It's like I will pick up a book. I'm even blanking on the name of a book that would be written from a woman's perspective. But I'll pick up the book because I think that it gets more in touch with that side of things. And I love just the banter back and forth on your show. I don't necessarily look at it and say, well, how am I going to handle my child that's in daycare if I'm a working woman? I don't look.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just so you know, you probably have a number of people in your listening audience that are guys too. Now, it might not be a majority, but I still think you have some guys that are a part of your audience.
Yeah, I think that we do too, and we have gotten that feedback as well, because a lot of the topics, just like you said, they're things that not only just men in general, but I think working parents overall. So that is one of our reviews, was someone that we interviewed who was an author, and he said, not only was it great to be interviewed, but I wanted to write a review because I actually really appreciated the content and listening to their podcast. So you're right.
No, that's okay, and I appreciate being right every once in a while. Being married to a woman who is constantly right. It's very very nice to know that I'm right every once in a while. So, who shares the birthday that's very close to Valentine's, Becca or Tiffany?
That would be Becca.
Yeah, so Becca, and I respect what you went through. It's like, coming up with the holidays. The holidays are coming. You always get the cards that are the joint card between.
No, I don't. No, I don't. That everybody knows. I have a sister who has a birthday that's a week before Christmas. They are 2 different days. They are not the same day. Valentine's Day is about my husband's and celebrating the love between my husband and myself. It is about sharing love with my friends and family. It is not about me, and it is about us. And that's like how I truly think about it. The birthday is all about me. And so we're just celebrating me, and I am just getting things. So that has been definitely that is just a non-negotiable, I guess. It's always kind of been that way.
It's funny because we were arguing about Valentine's Day on.
I know. I was listening. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. She was like, absolutely not. I don't like this holiday.
No, but it's a Hallmark holiday. Hallmark invented it to make people feel like they needed to do this insane thing for each other and buy all this crap to say, I love you. And if you're doing all that stuff just on Valentine's Day, I think you may need to relook at your relationship, because if I only was getting 1 card a year, I mean, I like snail mail cards. I love that kind of, I just love that. So it is important to me, and that would never work for me. If it works for you, great. And if you have somebody either showering you with gifts on Valentine's Day, take it. It just is not we cooked dinner at home this year.
Yeah,
and opened up a nice bottle of wine.
I think going out on Valentine's Day is kind of like, for me, again, I'm not a big partier, even though I party every Saturday as a part of my clients' plans. I'm not a big partier. It's kind of like, for me, going out on New Year's Eve. It's just not. Yeah. not important. I can go out any other night of the week. Why am I going to go somewhere, overpay to have this price fix thing, to be in a crowd, to be uncomfortable, and then to just, and then every cop on the road looking for you to be an idiot so that they can pick you up and take you away.
Right. The price fixing is what's crazy.
You're not even getting a good meal.
You're not even getting a good meal. And then it's you and every other couple sandwiched into a restaurant trying to talk about things in the relationship and be loving on each other. It's like one big orgy, basically.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you, but I have not participated in one of them yet. So I'm just, and I put the word "yet" on the tail end of that just because I don't know. At 52, I'm just leaving it open out there for whatever's gonna.
Never say never, Doug. Never say never.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we did we touched on some of life's imperfections. The New Year's and the Valentine's thing, and I want to talk about that for a second because you do hit on that at almost every episode. And what do you think are some of the biggies of some of life's imperfections that are out there? You're looking at each other saying, who the fuck's going to answer that?
Well, no, I guess it depends. I guess it depends on what you mean by life imperfections. Like,
well, whether it's at home or in the office, what are the common struggles that you see that people are dealing with? And again, you can approach this from a woman's perspective, that's fine, or you can approach this from a business perspective and a man, or however you want to hit it. But I think that that there are a lot of those struggles and imperfections that go on in life. What are the ones that you see on a more common basis?
So I think that self-doubt is a huge one that I see a lot. I'm actually seeing it a lot right now with some of the young professionals that are at my company. It's just the uncertainty about standing up for themselves, that they can't do it, that they shouldn't go for the negotiation, they shouldn't go for the raise, they shouldn't be the one leading that client call. It's really I guess you can also call it like your inner critic and I struggle with this a lot, is that my inner critic is really rude and really mean. Yeah. And for me to get in a position to say, yes, I hear you that you don't think I'm qualified. I feel otherwise, and I'm still going to apply. I feel like young professionals, I'm kind of defining in this like 22 to 26 year old group, is that it's even more heightened because they're even more unsure and more uncomfortable versus what I'm seeing more in kind of this like, senior director level is a little bit more like you're throwing yourself a little bit more into the uncertainty because you're a little bit more comfortable with your skills and you're a little bit more able to reach outside of your comfort zone. But that is one thing I see a lot. And it doesn't just apply to the workplace, right? Because it can apply to it with dating, or you don't think you can get that date, or you don't think you can, take that art class because you have little kids at home, or you don't think you could afford a babysitter. I mean, there are all these things that you don't think you can do, but you can, or trying to figure out the best kind of fit to make sure that where you're spending your energy is where you actually want to be spending your energy, and you're not spending your time on things that don't count.
Well, we hear no so many more times in the course of our day than we hear the word yes. And I think that part of that inner critic, and I 100% agree with you, part of that inner critic just beats the crap out of you. And I say this over and over again. I don't know, through the show or through my blog or wherever it is that I'm speaking, is that if we were to treat other people the way that we treat ourselves, we would constantly be walking around with a black eye on our face because we are our own worst. There's a book, I think it's written by a guy named Shad Helmstetter called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And we constantly are clobbering ourselves. I want to move to just a slightly different topic because I think that this is all a part of just, again, being a person and being a professional out there in the world. Nice guys finish first. Some people view nice as a weakness, while I look at it as a badge of honor, something that I've been able to do, even with a little bit, me, I speak kind of a little rough every once in a while. Can you still be nice and have a foul mouth, or can you be nice and be a little bit off kilter in the business workplace? What do you think is your definition of nice, and how does it apply to what you guys do?
So I would say my definition of nice is, well, let's see. I would say having good intentions. I don't think that has anything to do with language you use.
Good.
Necessarily.
Right.
I think it's also about respect. in how you approach the individual, whether you are giving bad news or good news. You want to be respectful in the communication. There's no reason to talk down to somebody, even though they technically have a lower title than you. Like, I just don't believe in that type of behavior or taking your stress out on somebody else. So I think to me is a combination between making sure you have good intentions and that you are really respectful about it.
Yeah, I agree with exactly what you're saying. And you guys have some pretty interesting positions in the quote unquote, let's call it the real world. Share with our nice guy community what it is that you do, and then how you even thought of, and we'll get to this in a second, but how you even thought of a podcast that was a good idea.
So Becca and I met working in the corporate world together. So I was a VP of sales. She actually was on my team.
Yep.
Which is an interesting thing in and of itself. And now I'm coaching, I'm doing the podcasting thing. We're kind of building a business outside of that. And I'm coaching working moms about balancing all of the things and helping them negotiate flexible schedules and things. And Becca.
And I am still at the same corporate job. I'm now a director in sales, and I do all of this. It's like my little pet project side hustle on the side. So like Tiffany said, we are building a business. We have a podcast. We are toying with the idea of doing more writing on the blog. I try to do some writing by myself. So yeah, we have very different schedules right now.
Yeah, it's interesting how I've just kind of taken I think we met, I don't remember when it was, a few months ago. I don't remember exactly what month it was. It seems to be all a blur now that we're doing 5 episodes a week, exactly what's going on. But we met at DC Podfest where Strick and I were speaking on the topic of adding humor to a business show. And you ladies were definitely supporters of the Nice Guy podcast and the message that was there. And so what's great about it is that, you start to build a community and you start to get friends within the industry, and you start to follow and you see people's progress. Where do you see yourself going with your show? Is it a way to get your message out and just another channel to reach more people? What's your plan with your podcast?
Yeah, I would say it's multiple things because one, for us, it's fulfilling in and of itself. We both really, really enjoy the format of a podcast. And so I think regardless, business-wise, we would probably still be doing it. But it is helping us in terms of from a marketing perspective and just building kind of our own reputation as you get certain guests on and it kind of builds on itself. I think that establishes credibility. For my coaching business, I've gotten clients who are listeners, so it's a marketing tool for us as well. And we plan to continue to be able to market our services through, like, any products that we're launching. We're going to market it through the podcast because that's kind of our primary piece of our business. Yeah.
The show is called Pop and Banter right now, but it will be called She Reaches Nice Guy Community. So if you have a chance to go over to iTunes, check it out. And in addition to just checking it out, give them a review, because I'll tell you, that is the lifeblood of what really pushes our show. And I know that we don't really feel like it's all about downloads, although Strick and I do constantly chat about downloads and try to get to the next level, or whatever the next level is. Since you guys are a team, I mean, one teammate plays against each other's or not against, but plays with each other's the weaknesses.
We complement each other. Yeah,
that's what I meant. Or you make fun of each other.
That too.
I don't want you to point out the other person's weaknesses, because that's never a good thing. It's always better to point out somebody's strengths and let them figure out what their weaknesses are. But if you could each just spend a moment talking about what you think your weakness is and what the counterbalance is by your partner on the other side of that microphone.
So this is Becca, just to clarify what I'm talking about. So, I mean, this is, we talk about this a lot, actually. So this isn't a crazy topic or an inappropriate question. So I am very tactical. I'm very task oriented. And so I just go do it. And I don't really need a lot of direction. I'm willing to try things, take the initiative. But my weakness is in thinking about the long term. So I can help with big ideas and bring them down to tangible things that we can go after. But thinking like, where do we want to be in a year, or what are our big goals for the podcast? We too talk about downloads. So, what is our goal for that? How are we going to reach that? I can help. I'm not as good at thinking about the kind of long term, or find a lot of joy in doing a lot of the research. If there's researching a lot of like what's going on in the industry, I like it for about like 15 minutes. And then I'm like, can someone just tell me what to do? Like pick one for me, or give me 3 options. But with 10 options, I kind of can't. I just don't like it. It's kind of a rule in my house with if one of us wants to go out to dinner, but we don't know where to eat, the first person to give 3 options, the other person has to choose one of those 3 options, or they have to pick one place that we're definitely going.
Yeah, we have that. We have that same thing at my house. We pick the 3, and then she says, "Okay, well, you pick the 3," and then I'm allowed to pick, which is great. And then we pick, and she says, "No, we're not going to there. We're not going there."
Well, that doesn't happen in my household, but that happens in my household though. But that will bring Tiffany to her strengths. Yeah. So
Tiffany, what are your strengths?
Well, so all of the things that she said she isn't good at are more my strengths. And we've realized that over time. It definitely wasn't something we went into this whole venture knowing. But over time, I think we've identified those things. I love the research. I love to know all the things. I could spend all day just doing that versus actually kind of moving the business forward. It's just feeding Becca all the different things we could be doing, or this person did this great thing and I think we should do something like that. And so, she's good at when I say like, I think we should do this, and we both decide, yes, that's a good idea. She can help break it down and keep us kind of on target to say like, okay, by what date are we going to have this done?
Oh, that's great.
And so I think between the two of us, we're really good team, because I can bring that overall perspective or bring in all the different research and things I've seen to try and cull it down to something that we would want to do. And then she's like the taskmaster. Yep.
So you spend your time talking to a lot of people about the things that you want to help them with, and some of those things you have to kind of turn back to yourself, because you guys are also your moms, your wives, you're successful in business, you have a podcast, you write sometimes, you do, sometimes it's 5 days, once a week, sometimes it's 1.5 times a week that you're doing the podcast. So a little bit of it is, how do you find the balance? And some of it is, how do I just figure out how to stay on this fucking treadmill? So what is it about? How do you really find that balance when you have to live what you're sharing as well, because that's part of what you're teaching other people. So what do you think is one of the things that you can do to help yourself with that balance?
You have to be honest about your schedule. And I think when you are looking at your week and you're trying to get done a list of things, you have to be honest about your time and what you actually are going to get done. And we've been through different periods of the business where we've completely burned ourselves out, and it is not positive at the end of it. Our families suffer for it. We personally suffer. Our relationship as business partners and friends suffers. It's just suffering all around, and it is not in a place where we need to be. And so that's one of the things that we've tried to develop, are different tools for the business that track things, having deadlines associated with those, making sure we're aware of vacations or family commitments, or for me, work travel, so that I can say, okay, I can't do this, but I can do this. Or, you know what, I'm not going to be able to reschedule this meeting because that's 4 days in a row that I'm not going to be home in the evening, and I really need to be home. And so it is about honesty and communication, because I think there is this desire to want to do all the things and want to be just buttoned up on everything and have all this stuff launched and get really excited about having all these people on. I mean, we've thought a lot about doing a twice a week podcast,
right?
And we're just holding off, because even though we think we could do it and we'd be really excited, it comes back to being honest about your time.
Yeah. And I would say it's about focus too, which I think applies both in business as well as personal, is like, what are you focused on at this moment in time? Like, what's the most important thing? Obviously, from a business perspective, it could be a certain project. Like for us, it's been rebranding and renaming and doing all of those things recently, but you can't launch 5 other projects at the same time. And so from a business perspective, I would say it's like, that's how we think about it. And the same thing applies personally. It's like, are you working on exercising more regularly right now, or feeding your family healthy meals, or, whatever thing that you want to be working on, you can't do all of them at once.
Oh, it's so true. So true. Can I give you my phone number so you can call my wife and just say the same thing about balance?
Tell her to listen to the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I would love it if she would listen to your podcast, because I get so much out of it. And I'm keep thinking, what's the expression? I can see I can see the splinter in your eye. I can't see the forest in front of mine. It's like,
yes.
I see so many things, not just about my wife, but about the people in my life, that I just want to say, how can you send a helpful link? You should listen to She Reaches. You really need to listen to Pop and Banter right now, because this is a really good episode for you, asshole. It's like,
well, if you just take the asshole part out of that.
Oh, it's all in the delivery.
It is a little bit in the delivery. So going back to being nice, I think there are some things where, I've done this with some people that I've seen resources or been a part of certain projects that we've actually done. And I've forwarded along to someone. I said, hey, given the conversation we just had recently, I think you may find this helpful. And then I just kind of leave it there and see what they do with it.
Oh, I think
I totally nicely poke certain episodes and say, oh, I thought of you. That's also a good one. I thought of you when I listened to this.
Okay.
Or when I read this book.
I'm writing a note. Leave the word asshole out. I got it. So
that could be one of your challenges.
Yeah, maybe that's my challenge. It could be my challenge. One of my weaknesses, and Strick will be quick to point out that is probably my challenge. So which one of you is the wild child and which is the conservative one in the pair?
Oh, geez. I think it depends on the issue.
It does depend on the issue. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you expand.
I think...
We're both really type A, so there's that part of it. But we're more type A on different issues, I think.
Yeah.
And so... That's
all right, well, let me throw a topic at you, and you tell me, and you can define wild child as whatever way you want, and conservative in whatever way you want to. Politics.
I'm definitely in the wild child camp.
I'm not conservative, though.
Yeah. So maybe Tiffany's in the middle.
How about professionally in the workplace?
I would probably say I'm more conservative in the workplace.
Yeah, I would agree.
You got to tell who you are so that we can.
Okay, so Becca is so far the wild child in politics and conservative in the workplace.
I'm keeping a graph here.
Oh, you should. I want to see that at the end of it. We're big believers in data. So
what's that called? What's with the circles, the two circles and the intersection?
Venn diagram.
I'm trying to put a Venn diagram together exactly.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Okay, professionally, wild child, conservative.
That's you. I just answered.
Oh, did you just say that? I'm sorry. Have we done politics yet? Oh shit! I'm trying to keep track of this chart. That's what happens. I'm keeping track of the chart. All right. How about relationships?
I'm on the more conservative side, I would say.
I've been more wild child.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, you got to just give your name so I can write it down.
So Tiffany is the conservative.
Okay.
And Becca would be more the wild child on relationships.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to give you 5 questions. You guys can pick which ones gets to answer which ones, but you have to go back and forth. So I just want one answer from the two of you on each one of these. This is just the rapid fire Q&A portion of our show. Take 5 to 10 seconds for each one. The first response that you can think of, just throw it out there. You ready, ladies?
Yes.
Okay. Be relatable. What do you suck at?
It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. What do I suck at? This is like really bad. I don't feel this conceited at all.
So between the two of you, you don't suck at anything.
Oh, you know what? No. So this is Becca, and I will say this. I'm not. I don't think well on my feet, as we just saw. I like to think things through, and I really don't think well on my feet.
No, that's
I
good.
need to be prepped.
That's good. Okay. Let's see. Now you got to be realistic. How many hours did you work last week?
Probably like 40.
And I was probably closer to 60, 65.
Okay.
That's Becca.
Okay. The 60, 65 was Becca?
Yes.
Okay. Be confident. What do you do as an entrepreneur that's as good as it gets?
I think our honesty and approachability.
Okay, good. Be humble. What experts do you need to call upon to make shit happen when shit's just not happening?
Lots of them.
A lot of shit goes down in your life, huh?
Depends on the topic.
Okay, no, that's all right. Yeah. That's all right. Be humble. I'm sorry, we just did the be humble. You see, I'm trying to keep track of this fucking chart. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. All right, so
you need practice on your Venn diagram.
I know. This is the first time I don't ever write anything down. I'm just going off the top of my head. I have some shit that I've written down, but it's not stuff that I'm actually rewriting notes. When you do your show, do you like have a pages of notes in front of you?
Oh, so that's a great question. We at the very beginning would write out an entire script and we would talk about it, and we felt that at the end it got to us not having a conversation, which was the whole point of us starting the podcast, is that we really wanted to have a conversation.
Right.
And so we abandoned that after the summer, and now we take notes ourselves, but we don't show the other person what we're talking about. So it actually is a conversation, and sometimes I'm literally learning about Tiffany as we're recording, which is good. It's just great. It's totally fine.
It's perfect. I mean, Strick and I have been doing the show now for 2 years. We're on episode, I think, by the time this airs, I think it'll be somewhere around episode 325, something crazy.
Holy crap, guys.
Right. So thank you. Something crazy like that. And I always say to him, do not have a conversation with me that's not on the air. I just want to talk to you like we're talking. And I used to send to him, I would say, a page of notes. These are the things that we're going to talk about. And those were the stiffest shows that we've ever had. It's the shows where I either say, I don't have any topics that I want to talk about, or that I wrote down one that are, and we start to go, and then it's just like that wind up toy. Once you start us going, we'll just have a conversation. We have to stop at 30 minutes because we said this is the limit of our listeners' attention span. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys like that too. All right, so here's the last question. You both got to answer this one, and I sent it to you ahead of time because I think this is more of a challenging question. I just started asking it, so we're just now getting through round one of those that I've asked this question to. If you had to pick a song title that represented your life, what would it be?
So mine is
That's Becca.
It's Becca,
by the way.
Sorry.
Okay. Let me write this down. Okay. All right, go ahead.
So the song is called "The Middle" by Jimmy
Eat World. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could also use Steelers Wheel, Stuck in the Middle. That would be another.
Stuck in the Middle with You? I could. Yeah. No, the Jimmy Eat World version is a little bit happier. It's a little bit I mean, it's can apply to not just a relationship. It's many different parts of my love life in general, about being in the middle and just kind of keeping yourself moving forward. And if it feels bad right now, it's okay. It's going to get better. And it's funny because when you asked us this question, it was the first thing that came into my head. So I said, well, I know how the nice guy community works and you like a lot of off the cuff stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to go with it. I'm not even going to think about anything else.
Right.
But then it got me thinking about songs from your quote unquote childhood, because this is a song from when I was like 14 or 15 and it still pulls at my heartstrings. And I know there is some research about like kind of the music you listen to from like, I think it's like 10 to 20 or 10 to 25 is kind of the most formidable of your kind of music listening life career.
Is that right? 10 to okay, all right, that's very interesting.
That's what I read.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can.
No, that could be the case.
Right. Yeah.
And how about you, Tiffany?
So the first thing that came to mind was Walking on Sunshine.
Katrina and the Waves.
And I was like, I don't know why.
Wait, the Allie and AJ version or the Katrina?
But I have no idea, except I think I try and be positive most of the time. So that's how I would like my life to be, maybe.
Well, you know what? I really do genuinely see the two of you as participants in life, not as victims of life, and not people that make life that let shit happen, but rather that make shit happen. And so I think both of those, I look at in the middle and I just say, okay, that is somebody that still has plenty of life to live, and that's kind of how I look at it, And Walking on Sunshine, I look at it. That's for me. That's an easy one for you because I see that as totally like Miss Positive, and you totally are. Both of you are positive people. You could have put both of those songs in both of your hands and been okay with either one of those.
Well, good. Thank you.
Well
really
done, ladies. Well done. If our listening community, if the Nice Guy community, our Funkin' fans, if they wanted to get in touch with you for either coaching or just to shoot the shit or to get on your show because you have a cool show and I think they could contribute stuff. There's so many people in our audience that I think would be amazing contributors to your show. How can they get in touch with you?
We are, as of today, at She Reaches across all platforms, including Facebook, including Twitter. We are hello@shereaches.com. We are reaching all over the place.
Wow, that is really cool. All right, so
Yep.
And that's it. So they can get in touch with you that way. We'll make sure we put all of the links in the show notes. Check out their podcast, rebranded to She Reaches, formerly Pop and Banter. Hopefully iTunes again does not fuck that up too badly, and we can get them
fingers
on She
crossed.
Reaches. Keeping our fingers crossed that as the day of this airing that it does make it through. Ladies, thank you so much for contributing to the show today. It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad you finally made it to the show.
Doug,
yeah, us too.
Pleasure to be on with the Nice Guy community. Thanks so much.
Our pleasure. Nice guys, Nice Guy community. Never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to our She Reaches ladies, Becca and Tiffany. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
Click on the Patreon link in the show notes. And for as little as $2 a month, you can help support the podcast and get access to fun bonus content. That's like half a cup of Starbucks coffee once a month, a grande, double shot, maybe a little flavoring. Thanks for listening. I mean, seriously, you need to cut back on your caffeine anyway.